Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that might surprise you. Foods you should never refrigerate. Keeping certain foods out of the fridge can actually make them taste better and last longer. Let's get started. Please don't forget to like subscribers to my channel. 1. Tomatoes. Because of the cold air in your fridge, the ripening process for tomatoes can be interrupted. This can result in a loss of texture and flavor. This is the last thing you want to happen to your tomatoes, right? It is best if you keep your tomatoes outside of the fridge. You can keep them fresh for much longer if you keep them in a fruit bowl, for example. This way, you will keep the texture and flavor intact and also add some color and variety to your counter. 2. Basil. We find fresh basil leaves all the time in the refrigerated section in the supermarket, so you might be wondering, why is it on this list? Basil is actually not resistant to cold temperature and wilts quickly. Also, the plant will absorb the scent of the other foods stored in your fridge. To keep your basil fresh for longer, the best thing you can do is to treat it as a regular flower in a vase or a plant. Put the stem of basil in a glass of water. That way you can pick leaves as needed and your basil will stay fresh for months. If you've picked too many leaves and have some leftover, you can dip them in boiling water for 10 seconds, let them cool, then freeze them for cooking even months later. 3. Potatoes. The cold temperature in your fridge causes the skin on your potatoes to get rubbery and go bad quicker. The cold actually causes the starch to convert to sugar a lot faster than if you were to store them outside the fridge. If you keep your potatoes in the fridge for too long, you may notice them starting to become sweeter, more dry, and even a little grainy. Instead of refrigerating these, you should store them in a place that is not so cold, like a pantry or basement. They may also be stored in a paper bag to provide them with some air circulation, helping them to taste more fresh for longer. 4. Olive oil and sunflower oil. If you store unstable mono and polyunsaturated fats like these healthy oils in the refrigerator, the fat molecules start to clot and may turn thick, opaque, and lumpy. Conversely, heat causes these molecules to denature over time and change formation to become less healthy. The light may also cause these oils to become rancid over time. It is best to store these in a cool and dark place, such as your pantry, and use dark glass or metal bottles to store your oil. This will help oils last for up to 18 months. 5. Onions. You can store onions for a very long time, provided they are in the right place. The best way to store onions is the same way you store potatoes, in cold and dry places, preferably in the pantry. However, beware. Do not store your onions on the same shelf that you store potatoes. The gases released from potatoes in an enclosed pantry will cause onions to go bad in just a few weeks. To rectify this, store onions and potatoes on separate shelves. 6. Bread. Refrigerating bread for longer than 1 week will cause bread to begin to taste stale or grow mold. By separating slices and keeping them wrapped in foil and sealed in bags in the freezer, you can enjoy your bread for quite a long time. The best way to defrost your bread is to put your oven on at 300 degrees, wrap your bread fully in foil, and heat for 15 to 30 minutes depending on the size of the bread loaf or slices you are reheating. This will keep the bread just as fresh as when you first bought it. Pita bread and sliced bread should be kept in a closed bag and stored in a cool, dry, dark place, like a bread box. 7. Avocados. Avocados are tastiest when they are ripe but not soft. They are creamy, more flavorful, but not stringy or old. Storing them in the refrigerator will delay the ripening process. If you purchase avocados already ripe, or if you cut them open, store these only in the fridge. If the avocado is cut, store it with the seeds still intact in the spare half in a sealed Ziploc bag with all air removed. This will keep the open avocado fresh for up to a day. If you sprinkle lime juice on the open cut, this will keep the avocado fresh for up to 2 days. 8. Coffee. Some people claim that by storing your coffee sealed in the fridge it will keep for much longer, but that is simply not true. Similar to basil, Fresh coffee beans and grounds absorb the scents from other products in your refrigerator and taste differently. The best thing to do is to store your coffee beans and grounds in a dark or opaque, completely airtight glass container. If you are an aspiring coffee connoisseur, note that storing your beans and grounds in plastic containers will impart a coffee odor in the plastic, so coffee with different flavors will change the flavor of coffee stored in that plastic container later on. Got it? Don't store in plastic. Ever. 9. Eggs. Almost all of us have at least a few eggs in the fridge at all times. They are very handy proteins that are quick and easy to prepare with any meal. If your eggs come straight from the chickens outside, and you know you'll use them in about a week or less, don't wash them until you're ready to use them. And these may be stored at room temperature in dark cartons. Once washed, the natural oil sealing the eggshell and protecting the egg inside is gone, and then they must be refrigerated. If you don't use your eggs that quickly, it is fine to store them in the refrigerator, provided you don't store them on the door. The constant changes in temperature from opening the door will make the eggs go bad faster. Try to keep your eggs in the back of the fridge. They'll last longer. 10. Condiments. There are many people out there that store their mayo, soy sauce, and catsup in the fridge. In fact, many condiment bottles say refrigerate after opening. However, it is completely unnecessary to do so. You may store many condiments in a cool, dark place. That could be the refrigerator, but may also be your cabinet.